Okay, so these are the things that helped us improve both our top line, like top line revenue, and our bottom line, our profit this year as an exterior cleaning business, meaning pressure washing, gutter cleaning, and like solar panel cleaning here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So quick thing. I've been doing this since 2019. I think only last like year or two that we started doing it really seriously. Before that, we were kind of messing around. We weren't making that much money. It was just kind of a side gig. Last year or two, I started taking it seriously. And this year, we started doing big things that actually helped us improve our margins and our top line, both top line and bottom line. Right. So this year we made around between 250 and up to, I think it was like $300,000. I think it's like 270 or something like that. Again, we haven't received all the accounts receivable yet, so it's and we haven't finished the year yet. It's mid-December right now, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, there's a few things that I can share. I'm not a guru. I don't know everything, all the answers. I can just tell you what worked for me this year, and I think these are things that you could probably definitely invest in that would definitely help you out. Okay, so first thing, performance-based compensation. Super important, something that we did not do for the longest time for no good reason at all. Basically, for the longest time, we had a salary employees and we also had hourly employees. And both of these methods for your technicians, which are what's called like revenue generating employees, right? So only when they are going out and actually cleaning a house or cleaning, solar panels, whatever, and cleaning the property, that's the only time that the company's actually making money. Right, so we realized that having these guys on salary does not make almost like any sense at all, and also hourly sucks because in both of these situations, the technicians have zero incentive to either A, work faster or B, work at all. All right, so what we ended up doing is we switched over to what's like a performance-based compensation or like revenue. It's called like a revenue share model, right? So what we do is we allocate a specific part of the labor. In our case, it's 30%. We allocate to labor costs, right? So what does this mean in practice? That means that if we have a $1,000 job and we allocate $300 to the labor, right? That means that's what's going to the team. Now, usually we work in teams of two. Usually we have a junior technician, we have a senior technician, right? So the senior technician takes like the majority of the split. And what we usually do in this situation right now is we have the junior technician who has a set hourly rate, which is like $25 an hour, right? So what we do is we actually time how long it took to do the job. Say the job took 4 hours. Right, so that means that the junior technician is getting $100, but the remaining of the split, which is $300, is going to the senior technician. So the senior technician makes $200, and the junior technician makes $100. So the biggest caveat with this performance-based compensation is that they still have to make a set hourly rate as a bare minimum, right? So if the guys come out and do a job today and it takes 8 hours, right? They are at a minimum making $20 an hour, right? Or whatever set rate that you want to decide. So in our case, it's $20 an hour. That means 8 hours. That means $160. This technician is making it at a bare minimum, right? So our job as me as the owner and our office manager is we have to sell jobs that are actually profitable, right? So if they're coming out and they're working, they're busting their ass, and it's like a very the amount of labor that we allocated is actually less than the bare minimum that we have to pay them, that job doesn't actually make financial sense for us, and we actually lose money on it, right? Because we did the math, and it actually, like, anything more than 30% of allocated labor from the job doesn't actually make financial sense for us. We're not making that much money. I would actually want to lower that rate even more, but like here in the Bay Area, I don't think we can lower the rate any further than that. The thing about performance-based compensation is that it will weave out any unprofitable jobs that you are doing. And that's actually one of the biggest things that really helped us out, because we started looking at like, okay, this job is actually not that profitable. We need to raise our prices here, and we need to raise our prices here, because these jobs actually don't make financial sense for us to have a team come out there, because the labor percentage doesn't work. So performance-based compensation, huge thing. Really helped us out this year. Highly recommend implementing this thing. That way your team is aligned, like is incentivized to actually work faster, work more efficiently, and it's actually easier for you as the owner as well, because you have more predictable labor costs in respect to jobs. Okay, so the second biggest thing that we did this year, which honestly I'm embarrassed that we didn't do this earlier, is we invested into SEO. And with the SEO, we actually ended up building out a new website. But this is something that we didn't do for the longest time, which is really ridiculous. But it really helped us out. We realized that we shouldn't be fully reliant just on paid ads, which is Google Ads is our main source of leads. And we have some organic here and there because we have like Google reviews and stuff. We have like over 100 Google reviews, and we've been in business for like over 5 years. But not doing SEO initially was probably the biggest mistake. And because I always thought it was kind of expensive, and I didn't really see the point of it. But looking at the numbers this year, we've actually decreased our cost of acquisition and we've been seeing how more and more of our leads are coming from organic sources and not just from paid sources, right? So I would highly recommend investing in a good website that helps. The website that these guys ended up building out for us, the SEO guys, it also started converting better, right? And we have more organic leads, so everything's working out way better for that. And I'm kind of embarrassed that we didn't do this earlier. So this really also helped us out. Okay, so the third biggest thing that helped us out is bookkeeping. Yes, guys, you need bookkeepers. And I also was really dumb about this for the longest time. I didn't know that accounting and bookkeeping was something that is separate. Like, apparently those are different professions. Or maybe, they could be handled by the same person. But anyway, they're different things. So we had accountants that helped us out with like tax stuff, liability stuff, and all that stuff every year. But we didn't, they ran our books, but it was a disaster. Like, they didn't know what they were doing. They're not actually a specialized tax, like they're not an accountant firm that specializes in small businesses like us that, are service-based cleaning business. And what I ended up doing is I found bookkeepers that are specialized in our field. And, it doesn't even cost that much. It costs like $500 a month. You don't need to have a dedicated bookkeeper on salary, right? Especially at a small scale like this. You can just outsource this to somebody else, right? So, and it helped us out tremendously because they started breaking down all these different things, and they gave us so what they would do is they would, they break down like just labor and cost of goods sold and the gross profit margin on that. Then they would break down like overhead and like marketing. And anyway, so once you have like a dedicated team that's good at that, you actually have a way better, you're way more transparent with your finances. You actually know what's going on, right? So before that, it was such a mess. We had QuickBooks, disaster. I didn't know what was going on. No one knew what was going on. It didn't make any sense. I didn't even like going in there because it was just like a huge disaster. So get a team of dedicated bookkeepers earlier than you think you need to, because that's the way you can actually keep track of your finances and then actually make proper decisions based on the finances, because you realize, okay, we're spending too much money here. We have problems with our cost of goods sold. Our gross profit margin is actually not that high, right? Where are our goals and so forth, right? So that's what's super important. And we realized this only this year, by getting a team of dedicated bookkeepers. So highly recommend doing that. That's actually the only way you can, having proper data, right, especially on your financials, is the only way you can make proper decisions on what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And the last thing that we ended up doing is we got a dedicated office manager or our virtual assistant, right? So what this helped us do, right? So we ended up hiring someone offshore in the Philippines. She's great. She's actually been handling all our inbound calls, inquiries, and so forth. And basically what this has allowed us to do, or allowed me to do, is to kind of take a step back from all the the fires and all the day-to-day like customer inquiries and calls, which I've been getting a little tired of doing that for the last 5 years. But it's also like I'm out in the field, I'm out doing other things, and I can't always be on top of it. So having someone that is dedicated specifically to doing just that has been a great thing. Now, I think, there's a lot of things I can talk about how I didn't delegate this all properly, right? But what's really important with getting an office manager is that you shouldn't abdicate all your responsibilities. You have to delegate them, right? And delegating is not the same thing as abdicating, right? Where you're just kind of saying, hey, I'm not, this is your problem now, deal with it yourself, right? You actually have to train them, you have to coach them. I had a lot to learn about this year, right? Because I've trained technicians and I worked with them, but I haven't worked with an office staff before. This is my first office hire, right? So it was a bit of a learning curve for me as well. But thankfully she's great, and she caught on pretty quickly, and we work together great now. But the main thing that this allows you to do is allows you to focus more on more important things throughout the day, especially if I'll have my team out doing a job. The technicians are out doing jobs. I have my office manager handling all the inbound and outbound inquiries, calls, emails, and all that. And I actually opened up my schedule to work on more bigger things, right? So I have time to work on email marketing campaigns. I have more time to work on creating more systems and all these other things that are actually really important to drive the business forward, right? So yeah. Anyway, so these are the four things that helped us out, right? So getting the performance-based compensation, the new website with the SEO, the bookkeepers, and the dedicated office manager. So those are the things that helped us out, and we increased both our top line and our bottom line this year. Again, we're finishing around $250,000 to $300,000 this year. Honestly, I think that we weren't really taking the business seriously these last few years, and only beginning of this year, last year, is when we started actually looking at the numbers, realizing we weren't that profitable, and we started actually taking steps to do that, to make it better, right? So I hope this video encourages you to actually take these things that have worked for me, helped us grow the business, and that I can say with some degree of certainty that it might help you in your business, especially if you haven't done these things before. If you guys have any questions, concerns, whatever, go ahead and comment. Hopefully I'll post a little more of these sorts of videos to kind of share my journey in building the cleaning business.